Welcome to Spaceverse, your portal to cosmic adventures. December 14, 2023, 3:42 a.m., Silver Spring, Maryland. Ex-NASA scientist Ethan Harper sits at his cluttered desk, uploading file after file to his social media. His glasses catch the screen's glow as he hesitates, then presses post. What happens next could change everything or land him in serious trouble. At first, his post was just a blip in the internet's endless stream. But once people clicked, they found something astonishing: crystal-clear images of Proxima B, our nearest exoplanetary neighbor. These weren't blurry telescope shots. Ethan claimed they came from the James Webb Space Telescope using secret, unreleased technology. And there was more. A single video file, which Ethan insisted would forever change humanity's understanding of the universe. Decades earlier, during the Cold War, the CIA had launched Project Stargate, a classified program blending science and mysticism. Its goal? To explore artificial intelligence and remote viewing, the alleged ability to perceive distant places using extrasensory perception. Project Stargate has some lofty, unconventional goals. The Soviet Union used remote viewers to depict the inside of buildings, military installations, and even entire towns that were thousands of miles away in order to reveal their secrets. Traditional intelligence methods later confirmed many of these accounts, which is remarkable. However, the CIA's focus extended beyond purely terrestrial concerns. Exploring heavenly objects, such as the moon, was an occasional assignment for Stargate participants. The most well-known experiment had a distant observer describing craters, structures, and oddities on the moon. NASA's lunar missions eventually verified these descriptions. Despite the relative anonymity of these revelations, they lent credence to the theory that remote viewing might provide access to information that does not exist in the physical world. Project Stargate shifted its attention from Earth to space shortly after it began with espionage on Earth. Mars probes were ordered to be launched in the early 1980s by distant observers. The question of how the surface of the globe looked over 1,000,000 years ago was asked in one interesting session. The observer claimed to have seen what appeared to be the ruins of an old civilization, complete with colossal buildings and humanoid creatures. Despite their lack of verification, these tales enthralled believers and skeptics alike, leading to increased conjecture regarding Mars' possible prior lives. Based on what we know about Project Stargate, remote viewing wasn't just an experiment. It was an integral element of a larger effort to investigate how we fit into the cosmos. The effects of Project Stargate lingered long after its formal dissolution in 1995. A large number of the project's scientists, psychics, and military personnel persisted in their own research thereafter. Some thought that the search for alien life, among other deep problems, could be helped by remote viewing. In 2016, the unexpected Proxima B emerged as a situation in which NASA's interest in unorthodox exploration approaches had developed. The rocky world circling the red dwarf star Proxima Centauri had piqued the interest of both scientists and the general public due to its proximity to Earth, just over 4 light-years distant. Using both high-tech telescopes and the imaginations of distant viewers, the agency hoped to learn more about this faraway world. A number of remote viewing sessions were held in Vienna, Austria on the afternoon of August 27, 2016. Helmut T., a doctor and certified Jungian therapist, used methods derived from Native American drumming ceremonies to lead his session. Target 08276161. Helmut said his thoughts to while he listened to a 210 BPM rhythmic track. He had no idea that this objective was Proxima B. More precisely, he was to describe the surface characteristics at 0° north, 0° east. The dreams that Helmut had were strange and full of color. He painted a picture of a fantastical sunrise, a vast expanse of purple light stretching out from the horizon. The mysterious purple rain that was falling from above seemed to be absorbed by the living, oozing earth underneath him. It wasn't water, but a liquid with an almost biological character, as Helmut pointed out. There was a heavy, almost suffocating air of antiseptic stench. Helmut was stunned by the sight of massive creatures covering Proxima B's surface, sentient beings resembling giant water lilies that communicated through energy transmitted via sand and rocks, harnessing radiation for survival. Another remote viewer, Jerry K., had similar impressions. He described an enormous, coordinated organism stretching for kilometers, seemingly aware of his presence but non-threatening. He also noted a high-energy structure resembling a radar array or flower, theorizing it played a role in reproduction by organizing surrounding elements into new entities. These revelations offered NASA a new perspective on Proxima B, suggesting a far more complex environment than expected. With this data in hand, the James Webb Space Telescope would soon be directed toward Proxima B, aiming to turn speculation into groundbreaking discovery. Exoplanet Proxima B, which orbits the red dwarf star Proxima Centauri, is shown in the video clips that Ethan shared along with pictures from spectrum analysis. Unlike theoretical artist renderings or fuzzy, faraway pictures, this was high-definition video that actually felt dynamic. Reportedly recorded using the James Webb Space Telescope's highly classified capabilities, the film commences with a breathtaking panorama of Proxima B's surface illuminated by the faint, reddish light of Proxima Centauri. Faint lights start to splotch across the surface as the time lapse continues. Initially, they seem random, like faraway reflections or ambient light. On the other hand, the lights get more organized and intense as the video progresses. Intentionality, not chance, seems to be the driving force behind their rhythmic flickering patterns. These lights are said to be man-made by Ethan in his video annotations. Their patterns are so similar to structured systems or coordinated communications that they make us wonder if they are the product of extraterrestrial life or some other mysterious mechanism on Earth. Over great distances, the lights seem to pulse in sync, suggesting a networked system, perhaps a communication or energy grid. The landscape is just as fascinating. As if reacting to variations in temperature or atmospheric pressure, the planet's surface subtly ripples in the time-lapse. Its fluid-like quality is shown by reflections cast by the shimmering light as it interacts with the surface. This interaction adds to the evidence of a dynamic and possibly sophisticated system-rich universe. Ethan also included a high-resolution picture of the atmospheric makeup of Proxima B obtained by spectroscopy aboard JWST with the films. Upon reviewing the data, one couldn't help but notice the peculiar combination of oxygen, hydrogen, and neon. Due to its association with photosynthesis and other biological activities, oxygen is often thought of as a possible biosignature. Hydrogen and neon are intriguing elements because they may indicate that the atmosphere is dynamic due to active volcanic or geological events. Some parts of the planet seem to be emitting a faint glow, and the picture also shows that the planet is reflective and absorbs light. These details are in agreement with the time-lapse movie's rhythmic lighting, which points to a link between the planet's atmospheric processes and surface events. The apparent artificial illumination on Proxima B's surface is the most stunning feature of the time-lapse videos. These lights might be signs of a highly developed culture if they are really man-made. Another possibility is that these lights are caused by natural processes that are extremely unusual and specific to Proxima B. Bioluminescent creatures or chemical reactions triggered by the planet's atmosphere and its closeness to the star are two possible explanations. Leaks from Ethan Harper's computer have sparked interest in Proxima B and the possibility of life beyond Earth. If the footage is authentic, it will be a huge step forward in our quest to understand the cosmos, regardless of whether the lights and buildings are the product of sophisticated technology, natural phenomena, or something quite different. Proxima B has evolved into a vibrant, sentient world brimming with secrets that beg for additional exploration. It is no longer only an ethereal exoplanet. A planet with pulsing architecture, atmospheric composition, and shimmering lights could change our view of life and the universe. The tale of Ethan Harper and the purported discovery of Proxima B is fascinating, but how much of it is based on reality? Is that so? Now we can dissect it. The plot thickens as we follow NASA scientist Ethan Harper as he jeopardizes his career and personal life to divulge secret knowledge. Nevertheless, a number of problems are quickly apparent. Identity verification: no proof has been found that an Ethan Harper was ever employed by NASA. Unlike someone with his claimed education and experience, he has no published works, research papers, or even a job history. This makes one wonder how real the story is. Confidential information sharing and protection. Much of NASA's data is encrypted and subject to observation. It seems unlikely that a single person could secretly extract and share high-resolution photos and videos online without setting off any sort of warning or facing any kind of consequences. Reasoning and scheduling: why would they distribute it in this way if the data was so revolutionary? For the sake of maximum credibility, scientists usually submit their findings to peer-reviewed publications for publication. There's a hint of desperation or intentional sensationalization in Ethan's decision to use X as a social media platform. The 2019 BLC-C1 signal that the Parkes radio telescope did detect was an actual occurrence. However, it did not prove that aliens were communicating with Earth. Causes from the natural world: the properties of the signal were found to be quite similar to interference from technology on Earth, according to subsequent examinations. Ultimately, it was determined that the narrow-band signal was caused by human activity, not an extraterrestrial broadcast. Conditions of Proxima Centauri. Red dwarf Proxima Centauri is notorious for its intense solar flares, in contrast to habitable zone Proxima B. Flares like these have the potential to remove an exoplanet's atmosphere, rendering it unsuitable for habitability. The report overstates the capabilities of the JWST, which is nevertheless an impressive piece of engineering. Image restrictions. Exoplanets like Proxima B, which are far away, cannot be directly imaged with the level of detail provided by the JWST. The main purpose of its instruments is not to take high-resolution pictures, but to analyze light spectra in order to deduce the composition of the atmosphere. False claims regarding technology. The claims made about the JWST's classified imaging technologies are, to put it mildly, speculative. The design and capabilities of the telescope have been extensively documented, and there is no indication of any concealed technology that might accomplish such feats. The focus of this story is the footage of Proxima B that Ethan Harper released, but unfortunately, it only serves to further confuse matters. Illumination from sources other than natural light. No plausible explanation is offered for the origin of the rhythmic lights shown in the movie, despite their description as artificial. The existence of an advanced civilization or a global lighting system is pure conjecture at this point in time. Communication in the atmospheric environment seemingly more like something out of science fiction than reality. The video depicts luminous precipitation and a dynamic surface. With no supporting evidence, these graphics may be quickly produced using current CGI tools. Measurements from spectroscopy. There is no proof of life or artificial activity, only because the atmospheric composition image displays neon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Oxygen can be generated by means other than biological activities, for example, by exposing substances to light. Defects in verification. Independent experts have not verified the videos. Their provenance is as of yet undetermined due to a lack of metadata, raw files, or authoritative confirmation. The data offered by Ethan Harper has not been peer-reviewed, which is an essential process for ensuring the validity of scientific findings. Another thing that makes the story untrustworthy is that no additional scientists or organizations were involved, creating a stir on social media. Claims of this magnitude made on X-like systems are highly unusual. It is not common practice to publish major scientific discoveries on social media, but rather through more formal means. Virtual reality. The argument. The CIA and other institutions have long taken remote viewing seriously despite its apparent lack of scientific support. During the Cold War, the United States government spent millions of dollars on projects like Project Stargate, which sought to gather intelligence through the study of psychic phenomena like remote viewing. Results from these projects were substantial enough to justify continuing spending for several decades, according to documents made public through the Freedom of Information Act. Leaked reports and sessions explain the use of remote viewing to Proxima B, which cannot be fully discounted. In certain controlled tests, remote viewing has demonstrated surprising patterns of success, but the underlying concepts are still not well understood. The fact that this technique was deemed valuable by the CIA gives it some credibility, even though mainstream science is still doubtful. One of the most well-documented CIA remote viewing programs, Project Stargate, had participants who were thousands of kilometers away correctly describe secret locations and activities, which led to operational successes that justified the program's ongoing financing for decades. Reasons why it's hard to disprove remote viewing. It is fundamentally difficult to validate or disprove remote seeing since it depends on subjective experiences and perceptions, unlike tangible evidence. Trained remote viewers frequently provide remarkably detailed accounts of places and events that would have been impossible for them to learn about using more traditional methods. The practice is both intriguing and vexingly evasive because of its uncertainty. The information gathered from distant observers about Proxima B is consistent with specific theoretical models of planetary habitats, which cannot be confirmed through observation. Proxima B's bioluminescent creatures or dynamic living surfaces, for example, are reminiscent to theories regarding the origins of strange life on Earth. An intriguing and divisive part of the Proxima B tale is that NASA supposedly used remote viewing methods to explore the faraway exoplanet. The interesting air of mystery that this theory offers is quickly dispelled when examined more closely. In reality, the purported NASA remote viewing sessions were really authored by remote viewing enthusiasts and practitioners and published in 2016 under the title Remote Viewing Proxima B. Individuals were given the task of picturing conditions on Proxima B, and this book compiles a series of their speculative remote viewing sessions. Neither NASA nor any other official scientific institution requested or sponsored these meetings. Proxima is often depicted as a dynamic, life-supporting planet, complete with a shifting surface, atmosphere, and possible life forms. While the remote viewing sessions in Remote Viewing Proxima B lack official endorsement, some details align with scientific theories, such as bioluminescent creatures and a changing landscape. The methods used resemble those in Project Stargate, a CIA-funded program that explored psychic phenomena for intelligence gathering. Though the book's claims aren't based on physical evidence, remote viewing has occasionally yielded intriguing results. However, the search for alien life demands scientific rigor. Without proof or peer review, these accounts seem more like fiction than fact. While Proxima B remains an exciting subject, Ethan Harper's leaks are likely just stories rather than groundbreaking discoveries. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the cosmos, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Spaceverse, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the latest space discoveries. Until next time, keep looking up, because the universe has secrets waiting to be uncovered.